subject. All right, Brian Hoyer, we're going to go for a grade. Let's first bring in Kenny just to welcome him back. Grade.
Brian Hoyer, I gave him an A- yesterday. He's a game manager guys. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He underthrew some receivers yesterday, so he missed some guys. But think about it. I think it was an 80-yard drive to put him up 23-17, and then an 85-yard drive that led them down the field for the game-winning field goal. So they fell behind twice in the second half, and both times it was Brian Hoyer, not Johnny Manziel. Brian Hoyer, who we should be talking about today, with 2 comeback drives to get them their first win in 10 years in the home opener. I gave him an A-.
All right, so Kenny gives him an A-. The lowest grade was Andre.
I don't know why.
You gave him a straight B. Why?
What's up with you, Dre?
I don't know, because I don't sleep, man. You guys know how it is. I got a little kid. I should have gave him an A-. That's my bad. I should have given him an A for the game-winning drive. I guess I still get down that they didn't put more points up early when they could have put this Saints team in the hole. But I should have been an A- at worst. I apologize.
All right, clearly the only one who's truly a quarterback in this is Tim.
Right.
He gave him a B+, which I did too. So whatever I say will be great because that's what Tim said too. Tim, what do you got there? Why'd you give him a B+?
Well, I probably should have given him an A as well, but he played phenomenal football. It wasn't flashy. That's the only reason that I didn't give him an A. Because it's not he's not going out there and lighting it up for 300 yards. I think he only threw for like 200 yards, a little over 200 yards. But he was so efficient and so tough and such a leader that he gets better and better each week. I get more impressed with him the more I see him, and his toughness. He took a hit on a corner blitz yesterday, right in the chest. He gets back up and he'll stand in the pocket and make the throws that have to be made. So I gave him a B+. Unbelievable game, awesome game-winning drive, and he continues to impress each week.
Tim, is it fair for us to call him
Andy,
a game
can I
manager?
jump in real quick on something Tim said?
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. When he took that hit, Brian Hoyer, yesterday, there was no way he was coming out of the game because he could have got Wally pipped.
Yep.
There was no way after that hit that he was coming out to allow Johnny Manziel to come in and maybe take the rest of that series, and who knows what happened. So, and how about this? Right early, 7:28 a.m., I wrote it down. Brian Hoyer tweets out this morning, "Good morning, Cleveland. Celebrate with a Roman burger at Mr. Hero." So not only was he clutching the game yesterday, he's Mr. Promotion this morning as well, doing what he should do after a victory.
I'm waiting for Johnny to send me a Snickers or something. Tim, when you hear the word game manager, do you cringe as a quarterback when we all say that about somebody like Brian Hoyer?
It's not the best label you can have as a quarterback, but that's part of being a quarterback. You have to manage the game. You have to manage situations. You have to manage taking care of the ball and getting the team in the right place. So you do have to be a game manager. But I think Brian's more than a game manager. I really do. I think he's a playmaker. I think he can make the throws that need to be made down the field. And at crunch time, that's how quarterbacks judge. When the game's on the line, what do you do? And Brian has shown in his brief time in Cleveland that when the game's on the line, he can get it done.
Tim, I think you said it before, and this is why I gave him a B+ in this situation too. He is a leader. That's the biggest thing. And I think at the end of the game, no matter how pretty or how ugly you thought it was, he was a leader, and I truly believe that offensive line believes in him, and I think that makes a big difference. Also, the wide receiving core believes in him as well. And that's a wide receiving core that got dogged early on.
I'm still dogging him.
You're still dogging.
But
they haven't done. I think there was
sometimes when he's holding the ball, drop passes is a good stat. But sometimes when he's holding the ball, it's because nobody's open. Because nobody's geting open downfield, right, Tim? This receiving core is not helping him.
All right, Eric, the referee. Let's go. What's the next subject?
All right, you guys are talking about the wide receivers, so great.
All right, let's grade the wide receivers. We'll start with Andre. You're first. Go ahead.
I went with a B because obviously I'm such a big fan of them.
Right.
Despite their talent or lack in some situations, I thought they caught the ball. Gary Barnidge was huge. But this offense shows if you have an athletic tight end, you probably scored 2 more touchdowns yesterday. But Gary Barnidge moved the chains. I give him a B.
I thought it was that catch on that last drive by Gary Barnidge was clutch. Yeah. That's the kind of play you see out of tight ends that win championships. To get that 4th down catch and to be able to do that. I gave the wide receivers a B+. Again, I don't know that I can give them an A, but the thing I think about it is everybody thinks the Browns don't have wide receivers, and yet they've done a workman-like job the first 2 weeks. Yeah. I know what you're saying about getting open. Tim, your thoughts on the wide receivers for yesterday?
I'm going to give them a B+ as well. I think like you said, everyone says the Browns don't have any wide receivers, any huge playmakers, with Josh being out, obviously, and then Jordan Cameron being out of this football game as well. But the way those guys stepped up and made plays, I thought Miles Austin made some really, really clutch catches, some tough catches in traffic. that only veteran receivers are going to make, and then Hawkins making the big play at the end of the game. It's kind of like Brian Hoyer, not real flashy in the plays that they made, but when the game was on the line and they had to make a tough catch, Barnes across the middle on the fourth down, those type of plays, they ended up making those plays. So I give them a B+.
All right, Kenny, wide receivers.
I gave him a B+. I'm one of the guys with Dre that have been dogging this receiving core. I still don't think they're very good. I think as a group, the receivers, not the tight ends, the receivers, the worst in the National Football League. But for one day, for a game yesterday when it mattered, they made plays. And that's why I gave them a B+. I graded them strictly on their performance yesterday. Dre's right. They're not getting open. That's why Hoyer's holding the ball so long, waiting, looking for somebody to come open. But yesterday, the Saints defense, it's one of the worst in the entire NFL. So it was a good match for a bad receiving core against a bad defense, and the receivers took advantage of it, and they made plays, thus the B+.
All right, Eric, the referee. Next subject.
All right, running backs. You had West and Crowell, no Ben Tate, but I still think they did a pretty good job. Got over 100 yards rushing, almost 5 yards a carry.
All right, running backs. Let's give us the grades. Just show us because I think this is another B. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like handing out any A's yesterday.
I know.
I will say this, that I love watching Isaiah Crowell. I really do. And I think you made a great point earlier, too. Everything that I think we wanted out of Trent Richardson, you seem to be getting out of him. And I think the amazing thing about Isaiah Crowell is this guy was one game away. And I hate the preseason, but if he doesn't have that big fourth preseason game, he's not on the team.
Well, the team did tell. I had somebody close to the team. They were trying to hide him. They wanted. That tells you how crazy the NFL is. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, people within the team were saying, if we can just hide him through preseason, put him on the practice squad, bring him along slowly. Now in week 2, he's one of the most important players on your team. It's amazing.
It's fun to watch. Tim, what's your thoughts on that running back game?
I give the running backs a B. I thought nothing exciting. They weren't just gashing the Saints on the ground, but they had timely runs. When the Browns needed some yardage on the ground, they were able to give it to them. And these guys are 2 rookies. At the end of the day, they're rookies. And, I look at more than just the running game. I thought the way that they pass protected, the way they were picking up blitzes, West called a pass out of the backfield on a corner route kind of deal. So I thought they had a really, really good all-around game. Really impressed with Isaiah Crowell. Saw him in college when he was at Georgia, the top running back in the country coming out of high school, and they got in trouble there and had to transfer away. But this kid is ultra-talented and is starting to show on the field.
So you're not surprised by what he's been able to do? I mean, you've watched enough of him.
Not surprised at all. I saw him as a true freshman playing at Georgia and just lighting up the SEC. And everyone thought he was going to be, the kind of Heisman contender type guy. And he had all the hype coming in the world in college, and just got in a little bit of trouble, like I said. And but he's bouncing back, looked like he's taking care of himself off the field, and his talent will show on the field.
All right, Kenny, what do you got for us?
Gave him an A, guys. We're talking about not having their prize free agent running the football in Ben Tate. He's out. Who's in there? A 3rd-round pick, right, out of Towson, and an undrafted rookie free agent. 2 rookies running the football, as Eric the referee pointed out, over 4 yards per carry, 30 touches. I love in 2 weeks in a row now that they stuck with the running game. They need to run it 25 to 30 times a game with that offensive line and with the lack of receivers that they have, because the running game helps those poor receivers because they have to come up and respect the run. And thus, you get a guy, when they bring him in motion in that bunch package, he gets to sneak out for the big play with Hawkins to set up the game-winning field goal. So I thought the running game had a huge effect on the passing game, and that's why I gave him an A.
Well, here's one reason why I think I could have leaned towards an A, too. People are saying, what happens when Ben Tate comes back? Which means you've got a great problem on your hands. This is the Browns. I mean, we're talking about having a good problem where Ben Tate is an effective running back, and now you're worried about what you're going to do with him when he comes back?
I'm not worried about him.
I'm not worried either, but I think it's great.
Yeah, backs get banged up. Let's go week by week. You're right. It is a conversation. I want to see more Crowell, and it's nothing against anyone else. Tim brought up something. I brought this up last night. His run blocking, and I don't know if Terrence West is as good as a run blocker, but he stuck his nose in against a couple blitzes yesterday. They're plays that don't make the newspaper. They're plays that no one tweets about. But if he can't make those blocks, you can't play in the NFL at running back. And he does it, guys. And he stuck his nose in there a couple times. I should have gave him an A just for the run blocking. They were phenomenal doing everything yesterday. It's fun watching these 2 rookies.
All right, I'm going to learn not to give the grades until this morning. We're going to make Eric work a little bit harder. All right, what do you got next, Eric, the referee?
Here's the grade I can't figure out. How you guys did not give the defense all A's, I can't figure out. You hold Drew Brees to 9 passing yards in the first quarter.
Because there was the 3 other quarters.
Yeah,
I mean,
Play
they
score.
won the game, but grades on defense. Guys.
All right, we're going grades on defense. Kenny Rhoda, we'll start with you. Grades on defense.
I gave him a B. Running game.
Yes.
2 weeks in a row.
I'm worried,
340 yards rushing they've given up 2 weeks in a row. Other teams are going to see that and capitalize on it. It was stupid on the Saints' part not to adjust sooner than they did. It's like they had their scripted plays, and no matter what's happening, we're going to throw the ball, and they could have gashed the Browns early with the run, and they didn't do it. Having said that, Dansby makes the big sack late in the game. They got the win at home, but that run defense is a major concern for me. That's why I gave him a B.
All right, I talked about the running, and Jimmy Graham is the other thing. But I don't know any defense, maybe with the exception maybe outside of Seattle. I think it's tough for any defense to cover Jimmy Graham. I mean, he is so special.
When he's
and
healthy,
what a great player.
When he's healthy, nobody stops him. Nobody does. He's 6'6". He boxes guys out. I mean, you know, he's the best right now. He's uncoverable. He really is.
He made it look like when you're watching there, and all of a sudden, if he can make Joe Hayden look like a point guard going up against a Joel Embiid, a 7-footer, that's exactly what it looked like yesterday.
He makes you look like he's playing with little kids. Even when you tackle him, he stands up, and it looks like he's playing with 5-year-olds. It's unbelievable.
Tim, what do you got for the defense?
I give the defense an A, guys. You know, I thought they were phenomenal. I thought they had a great game plan. They knew that the New Orleans was going to come in and try to throw the football. They thought they could take advantage of some things in the secondary, the way Pittsburgh did early in the first half of that game, where they lit them up in the air. So they came in trying to throw the ball, and Jimmy Graham obviously killed him. He kills everyone, but the other wide receivers, the way they took those guys out of the game is what impressed me. Marcus Colston didn't have a catch. Cooks only held to 3 catches. I mean, they shut everyone else down. No one did anything. I thought they pressured Drew Brees. They had a pick six for a touchdown. Paul Kruger was great. Carlos Dansby was great. I give those guys an A for that.
Tim, can you just talk about the way they were able to stabilize Drew Brees yesterday, too? And, a lot of people want to talk about this indoor versus outdoor thing for Brees. Look, I watched him play at Purdue, and I don't think being outside was a big deal for him when he was young in his career. Does it really make a difference if you're inside or outside, if you're a Drew Brees?
No, I don't think so. Drew's a phenomenal player, one of the best in the league, and it doesn't matter if he's inside or outside. I just think the Browns did a really nice job of switching up their coverages on him, and they got pressure on him. If you get pressure on any quarterback in this league, you're going to affect them. No matter if it's Brady, Manning, Brees, no matter who it is, you're going to get some turnovers out of those guys. Quarterbacks don't like guys flying at them, and you give them confusing looks in the secondary. They switched up their blitzes, and like I said, Paul Kruger was really impressive to me. I thought he had several quarterback pressures, and he affected a lot of Drew's throws as well.
All right, Tim gave him an A. We all should have given him an A. When Tim says A, it should be an A. All right, anyways, what do you got for us,
Quit sucking up the couch,
Yeah,
Andy. Come
tell
on
him,
now.
Kenny.
We all have our
What?
opinions.
Tim's a man like the rest of us. We don't got to follow the leader. He got a big cup of coffee right now. If Tim says drink coffee, we should drink coffee. Love you, Tim.
That's all right. Hey, Tim, next week you'll be in studio with us. Andre's done. Andre's not going to be in the studio anymore.
All right, that sounds
Or
good.
maybe smoke a cigar. Mike Pettin said after the game, how's he going to enjoy it? He's going to smoke a cigar. First career NFL win. What do you guys give Mike Pettin?
With the new drug policy, you better be careful talking about
Yeah.
smoking after games.
Is it Mike Pettin or the whole coaching staff?
Mike Pettin.
All right, just Mike Pettin alone. Andre, why don't you start us off on
I
that?
can't remember. I think I gave all B's
B's,
all the
I
way
did too,
through.
yes.
I think that's just where I was at yesterday.
What'd you do? Just look down at your shirt? Do you give him a B?
Exactly. You know how I roll, Kenny. I keep it simple. I was like, B, 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 B. Great win for them to start off at home. And really, I thought the adjustment of how they started the game compared to how they started in week 1 was huge. I thought the defense, I think when they went dime on third down, sometimes you saw 4 safeties on the field, guys. They were creative in the ways they slowed down Jimmy Graham early on. I think that was great. But I'm with Kenny. I'm worried about the run defense, so I had to give him a B.
Tim, what'd you give him?
I gave him an A. It's been a long time since the Browns have won a home opener, and it's against a really good New Orleans team that obviously didn't want to drop to 0-2. So the game plan that he had to slow down Drew Brees, to get a turnover, to do all those things that they were able to do and take away those other wide receivers, I think it was a phenomenal game plan, and it resulted in a win. So that's an A for me.
Kenny.
I gave him an A+, guys. How awesome would it have been if he had 2 beer cans, smashed them together like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and sucked them back as a victory celebration yesterday? I thought he did a great job with the game plan compared to last week. Last week they came out and they looked like they had a first-year head coach and they had never played football before. Yesterday, they came out and they took it to the Saints. They elected to play defense, right? And give the Saints the ball at home and stop them, and went up 10-0, guys, and then made adjustments, too, later in the second half to come back and win. So your first home game, as Tim pointed out, first home win in 10 years in the home opener. For me, it's an A+ because I thought they'd be 0-2 at this point in the season, and they found a way to win. And this team, we hear him say, play like a Brown. I think he felt in yesterday's game they played like a Brown. He got his first win. I gave him an A+. Good for Mike Pettin.
I gave him a B+ just because I don't want to set the bar too high. Look, if they come out and blow them out on all sides of the ball, on all play, I'll give them an A.
Way to
but
go,
I'll
Andy.
just go B+ on this one, just because I want to give them some room. And, they said after the game, a lot of the guys were still talking about the things they didn't do right in yesterday's game. I think when you win, it masks some of those things. I'm excited they got the win. B+ is a very good grade for me. I'm going to be tough on them because I want to expect higher standards. I hate the fact that the bar is so low for this franchise that we just assume, it's a win, it's an A, it's this, it's that. But at this point, I'll give him a B. I just want, I don't know what, I mean, I can't ask for anything more than a win. I just want a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'm just being greedy, that's all.
I'm just happy you didn't follow what Tim said. Good job, Andy.
I tried to.
Way to go, Andy.
All right, thank you.
He can do it on his own.
All right, Kenny, we'll talk to you in a little bit.